Hi, I'm Louise, and I have a little confession to make. I love food, I love cooking, and I've been cooking my whole life. I've even studied at Cordon Bleu. I make roasts and biscuits and pancakes and everything you can imagine. But there's one thing that's always scared me, and that's bread. I'm not sure if it's the yeast and the rising or the kneading, but it's always been in my too hard basket. And today I've decided to get that sorted and ask my lovely mum, Suzanne Gibbs, celebrated food writer, to teach me how to make her favourite bread.
Well, Louise, you're in luck because I've got a bread for you. It's no-knead bread.
Oh, perfect.
It's fantastic. So what happens is the kneading is replaced by time. We just mix our flour and a few other little ingredients and we just cover it, we put it in a warm spot and we just leave it. And that time will do what the yeast and the kneading normally does. So we start off with 4 cups of flour in our bowl. We don't even bother really sifting. We've got instant dried yeast. It's just 1/4 teaspoon.
Yes.
Instant yeast is a really reliable product. Now this is the magic ingredient.
That's the bread improver.
That's the bread improver. And it's fantastic.
Now that's 1 teaspoon.
1 teaspoon. So we've got our 4 cups of flour, our yeast, our bread improver,
and just the salt.
A little bit of salt. Oh gosh, that's quite a bit of salt. Now my French friend would like that. Robert always wants to cut down on the salt and she always wants to add it. There's 2 1/4 cups of water, but I always hold back up when I'm adding water to anything.
Yes.
So start mixing that in.
And it's warm water, which just gets the yeast working, I imagine. Is that
just
right?
Just lukewarm or tepid water.
Yes.
Yeah. Put a bit of heart and soul into that.
Get the elbow grease
get
going, as you like saying.
Your father would have this mixed by now.
Dad is the master baker in our family. He loves to make the bread. Well, no one's as good as Mum,
And
but he'll
let
have
me
a
tell
go.
you, this is how easy it is. You hardly, I'll just
You
show.
can't resist stealing it
Yes,
from me,
I'm
can
going to
you?
take over.
You're meant to be teaching.
Yes,
There we
I
go.
want to feel, I want to know that it's all right. Yes, it's good. And basically, that's it. Can you believe it? So we're going to let this rise and see how that's hardly mixed at all. It's not smooth in any way. It's, quite rough really, but that's fine. Now I'm going to show you this. Put a piece of plastic wrap on, like that.
Oh, this is your special suction
And then-
technique.
See that? Get the air out.
Wow, like a drum. Now, Mum, looking at the recipe, it says to leave this for 10 to 12 hours, which is roughly how long I sleep. So I could make this at night and be perfect and ready in the morning.
Can. You can make it in the morning for the evening, or you can make it the night before for the morning.
Perfect.
So.
So we just put a lovely cloth over that. What does the cloth do?
And the cloth protects it from the outside influences, so it stays nice and snug. Snug as a bug.
Okay, good to know.
So that goes in your special warm spot by the window, sunny
Great.
window.
Oh, Mum, look at that. Isn't it beautiful?
It's magical. It is, because we've used just 1/4 teaspoon of yeast, and we've got all of that rising happening.
You can't
so this
believe
first stage
how
is rising.
It rose.
Now the thing is, why you do what we're doing next, if you were to continue going the full length of time without folding this over on itself and knocking it down, you would have a thing that's growing so big you wouldn't have a bowl big enough, and you'd have all those air bubbles, and so the dough isn't connected anymore.
Yes.
You want that connection.
So we're putting it back in its place and then letting it rise again.
So that it can, and that way we're going to improve the flavour of the bread ultimately.
It's also interesting how quickly it goes
That's
back
all.
down
That's
again.
basically it. Knocking it down like that. Yeast loves humidity. It loves to grow in humidity. So I put the plastic on to help that humidity, then the cloth on, just a double cloth, so that it protects it from the outside influences. So we put that away for another 6 hours. Louise, we've got the dough proved.
Oh, look at that.
That's been going for 6
Very
hours.
impressive.
Look how gorgeous that is.
Very
this is the
wobbly.
fun bit, and it's also the very tricky bit. The pot's in the oven and it's well oiled, and you don't have much time here. You want to get this in, you want to get it topped before
Now, excuse
much
my
else
ignorance,
happens.
but why would we have a pot in the oven with nothing in it?
To get warm, to get hot, so that when the dough goes in, it kills the yeast pretty quickly. Lovely bubbles in it. Look. Look.
That's because the yeast is
so we get
a
that
living thing.
like that.
And we're going to sprinkle some of this.
What
This is
I
linseed.
like to sprinkle a little character on it. So
Yeah.
you've got some linseed and I've got some.
Hang on,
flour.
I want to put one of those lovely crosses in it like you see at the fancy
you can
bakeries.
have a shot at that.
Can we do that?
Yeah, but you want to top it first. And then
Well, you tell me,
yeah,
boss.
top it first, then do your quick slash.
Okay. So this is linseed meal, but we can use other things, can't we, too?
Can use linseed meal, little
Cornmeal.
But just because yesterday I was driving over the Murray, I'm celebrating the fact that we buy this salt. Okay, now let's get the lid on because that makes all the difference to the bread.
Lovely. And if I didn't have one of these fancy dishes, I could just use a regular scan pan or something,
Yes,
couldn't I?
yes, you can use an ordinary saucepan.
Yes.
That
With a
can
lid.
go in the oven with a lid. Now, have you checked your cooking time?
Mum's abandoned me to go and have a cup of tea, but I'm under strict instructions to take it out of the oven and take the lid off. Here we go. Oh, there goes the timer. So the lid comes off. Oh, look, it looks fabulous. Now, Mum did warn me that it would look a little pale, and it does, but that's okay because I'm about to put it back in the oven for another 15 minutes. Lovely. Our loaf's been in the oven for another 15 minutes with the lid off, so it's looking beautiful. I'm going to get it out. Oh, this is something to be proud of.
Wow, look at that. Now, I might be up against it with my favourite little utensil. I'm going to have to get the big guns out, just because it's such a high loaf, and go around. Now, do you want to have the honour?
I do want the honour. I can think of nothing better. So, I hope it behaves itself for
let's
me.
see. Let's hope you've oiled it properly, Louise. That will be the test.
Woohoo!
Woo! And what about the pot? Is there anything left? No.
Perfect.
And let's turn him back up. What
Oh.
a beautiful boy you are.
That is magnificent. I can
So-
safely say I'm no longer scared of making bread.
Yes.
So easy.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't
You'll
it?
be the talk
and
of
to
the dinner
think
party.
that you didn't have to knead that once.
I
Not
know.
once.
And look
Just
how
turn it around a couple of
high it
times in the
is.
bowl. Let it magically do its thing overnight, or
I can think of nothing better than slicing this and having it with some lovely butter.
oh yum.
Do you want olive oil or butter?
Oh, I'd like butter, but you probably tell me I've got to have oil.
So I've got to say I'm feeling pretty proud of my first bread making effort. But I think one of life's true joys is freshly baked bread with butter. So I'm just going to cut myself a slice. Oh, I've got to show you that. Look. I think I'm going to win a prize at the Royal Easter Show with this. Looks perfect, sounds perfect. Look at that texture. And if you're trying to be healthy, use olive oil, of course. I'm going to have a sneaky bit of butter here. I think there's nothing better. Heaven.